So it is now the 11th of Dhul Hijjah. What happens on this day? So keep in mind that on the 11th of Dhul Hijjah, the night comes first. So basically, the 11th of Dhul Hijjah night will begin at the end of the day of the 10th. So on the day that you will be doing, your first stoning and then your hair cutting and your sacrifice and so on, at the end of this day when the night begins after Maghrib, that is when your 11th of Dhul Hijjah begins. Now, for most of the scholars, they have said that it is wajib, it is compulsory to, at least stay overnight in Mina. And there are some scholars who have said that it is not compulsory, but it is just, recommended, or it is a sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. However, if one has the opportunity and has, all of the variables are there, one should not leave out the staying overnight in Mina. And what is the minimum? Many of the scholars have said, look, the minimum, let's just say more than half of the night. As long as you spend more than half of the night in Mina, then that should be making sure that you are meeting the requirements, inshaAllah. Now, on the day of 11th of Dhul Hijjah, there are no specific rites that one has to fulfill, like reciting the Quran or anything else like the 10th, except one thing, and that is the pelting or the stoning of all three of the jamarat on this day. Now, we will be pelting all three of the jamarat as opposed to the 10th when we do only the biggest of the jamarat. Now, what will happen is that we will be pelting at each jamara, the small, then the medium, then the big one, 7 peltings, and on each pelting, on each throw of the stone, we will say the takbir and we will say Allahu Akbar. And after the first pelting at the small jamarat, you will step aside and you will make a dua. Then you will go to the second jamarat, you will do the pelting, and after that you will step to the side and you will make a short dua there as well. That is the sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Now, keep in mind that it is not compulsory to remain at Mina during the daytime. In fact, on the 11th of Dhul Hijjah, it is very, very possible for you to actually do your tawaf for Hajj or tawaful ifada on this day as well. You are able to do your tawaful ifada on the 10th or on the 11th or on the 12th or any time after that if you need to delay it for any reason, for the reasons of, say, for example, your menses. You are able to delay it all the way until you are ready to leave Mecca. So you can do it right at the end as well. And many of these scholars have said that you can also combine, for a legitimate and valid reason, the tawaful ifada with the tawaf al-wada', or the farewell tawaf that you would do. They could be the same tawaf. That's what some of these scholars have said. Nevertheless, on the 11th of Dhul Hijjah, it is very, very possible that you can do the tawaful ifada during the daytime sometime, and then you can proceed on to Mina and you can complete your pelting. Keep in mind that your pelting needs to be done after Dhuhr. Your pelting needs to be done after Dhuhr. And that most of these scholars have said that it is not preferable. In fact, it is compulsory to do it after Dhuhr. There are some scholars who have allowed to do it before Dhuhr as well, but this is a very small minority group. And why would one do that when one has the option and when one has the variables and the conveniences, especially on the 11th day of Dhul Hijjah? There are now, many different levels of jamarat. There are many different, I think there are 5 levels approximately that the government has made in order to make the jamarat very, very easy. And also, one is able to go on the day and go very close up to the jamarat and to throw the stones and move on at ease, inshaAllah. So there is no reason why someone should not be going after the Dhuhr Salah and doing the pelting at the proper time. Additionally, on this day, on the 11th of Dhul Hijjah, you will continue to shorten your prayers. So you will continue to shorten your Dhuhr Salah, your Asr Salah, and your Isha Salah, but it is preferable not to join your prayers on this day. You will just shorten your prayers, but not join your prayers as you would do at Arafah and as you would do at Muzdalifah when you join the Dhuhr and the Asr and the Maghrib and the Isha, prayers. So this is a gist of what happens on the 11th day of Dhul Hijjah and the night of Dhul Hijjah.